Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm actually going to be sharing with you a really new recipe that I've put together, and it is an edible cookie dough. This stuff is incredible. I was definitely inspired by some friends of ours who have a cookie company that also do this, and I was like, I've got to make this at home. So today I'm going to be bringing you two variations of this edible dough. The first is going to be probably my favorite. So this contains chocolate chip cookies, chocolate sandwich cookies, peanut butter, chocolate chips, and Reese's cups. So for me to even give this a name, it's kind of hard to come up with one because there's so many ingredients, but it's like the mega chocolate peanut butter or something like that. So the other version that I'm going to do today is a Biscoff base. So this was something that I hadn't tried until I'd come to the US. I think it's actually a UK product. But it's kind of cinnamony. It has a bit of a, I guess, a peanut butter like spread texture. And I'm going to be mixing that in with white chocolate, some candied pecans, as well as a delicious, it's like a carrot cake stuffed sandwich cookie. So I'm really excited to give that one a go. That's going to be a new one for me today, and I can't wait to bring it to you guys. First things first, I'm going to go through the base because it's exactly the same for both. All I'm going to do is combine all of those ingredients, and then I'm going to split the dough in half, and then we'll be adding in separate mix-ins to form each of the individual flavors. Now, it's really interesting as I look at the macronutrient profile of the base, it's actually not that crazy. It turns out that the things that we are adding in are what kind of make this edible dough pretty dense. For the actual base, it's 27 grams of protein, 38 grams of carbs, and 13.5 grams of fats. So it's not that insane per serving. So again, depending on what you choose to put into your mix-ins, that's really going to be what makes this a dense dessert. So I've got some really great alternatives that I'm going to show you today as well if you are on a slightly lower calorie budget. So I'm going to start off by putting in all of the base ingredients just into the food processor, and then when we add in the mix-ins, that's going to be folded through so that you can kind of get like that nice contrasting texture with some chunky bits kind of scattered through. But for the base, we definitely want that nice and evenly distributed. So before I do that, I'm going to be putting the flour into a baking tray to actually bake for about 5 to 10 minutes. And that's just to kill off any of the bacteria. I know for me, I'm not baking that regularly. So because the flour is, in your cupboard, it's in your pantry, we don't want to be eating potential pathogens. So this is just an extra step that I'm going to be adding in because I'll be giving it to the kids as well. We want to make sure that there's nothing lurking inside your flour. So that's going to go into the oven at about 380 degrees for 7 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and transfer everything into the food processor. Perfect. Okay, so we'll go ahead while that's kind of cooking off. We'll go ahead and put the other ingredients into the processor. So I've got here sucralose, powdered sucralose. So a typical recipe for a cookie dough or an edible cookie dough would be using regular sucrose or table sugar. This is one of the ways that I'm able to kind of slightly bring down the macronutrient or the calorie component. But again, it's not really the base that's adding all of the layers of energy density. It's what we're going to be adding to it. But this is certainly going to help halve the amount of sugar or carbohydrate in the base. So next is our room temperature butter. So I've got about 75 grams of butter here. I'm going to pop that in next. If you had a spoon. Yeah, I didn't prepare that earlier. Oh, it's a fork. Okay, so next up we've got some whey protein isolate. So I've got a vanilla-based protein here. Now, you could probably use any flavor that you like. Again, this is really just taking in a substitution role for the amount of flour that would normally go into an edible dough. So again, whatever your preference, if you're a chocolate fan, you could use chocolate. If you like a caramel, whatever you've got on hand is totally acceptable. And I'm using a 50-gram serving of this. Okay. All right, so for the liquid ingredients, I've actually got some protein, I guess a ready-to-drink protein drink in here. So again, you could use anything that you like. You could use like a cashew milk, an almond milk, some kind of a milk substitute. You could use regular milk. It really is up to you. Again, I'm just trying to provide a substitute for something that might otherwise be relatively full fat. I had a look at some of the regular ingredients when you're making an edible dough, and often this is either like a cream or a full fat milk, cow's milk. So I'm using the Quest brand of salted caramel. It's also adding some extra flavor and some sweetness, but with the calories coming from a more preferred macronutrient source, so like a protein. Okay, so timer's just gone off on the oven. I'm gonna go and get that flour out and we're gonna transfer that in as well, and then we're gonna combine it all together. Okay. All right, last but not least, almost forgot, we do need a little bit of salt, and I'm also going to be putting in some vanilla essence as well. Let's give it a go. There we go. So just a few shakes. Okay. All right, lid goes on. So I'm just going to stir down and wipe off some of the edges. Get rid of all that excess, and then we'll put it back in again so that it's completely smooth. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and divide that batter now straight down the line so that we can start to add in all of our fillings. Does cooking ever go smoothly? Because I really feel like I'm so out of practice. All right, so we'll start off with the peanut butter chocolate extravaganza, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to go ahead and take just a regular cookie from like the bakery section of a supermarket. So these are about 35-gram cookies, if you're wondering, and they're also super delicious. So again, you can put in whatever you like into here, and then we're going to kind of fold it all together. Next up, I've got this sandwich cookie, which is one of my favorites. These are like a 35-gram serving as well. But again, you could do whatever you like. It really depends on your personal preference. So I've definitely made these before with brownies. It goes in beautifully. Do the easy things next. Okay, so next up we've got some chocolate chips. I'm just going to shake those in. These are the little mini varieties. I think they look way cuter than the big chunky ones. I've also got here some Reese's peanut butter cups, just the miniatures. I've got 3. So I'm just going to kind of halve those so they'll stay in pretty much intact. Okay, and then last but not least, we've got some peanut butter. Now, this is the fully loaded stuff. If I wanted to, something that I've experimented with before is this product. It's called Betterin peanut butter. It is a modified, I guess, peanut butter spread, and it comes in a couple of different flavors. So this one is like a chocolate. There is an original peanut butter flavor. They have a banana cinnamon flavor. And there's also a lower sodium option as well for people that have, I guess, high blood pressure or other clinical conditions that need to manage their salt intake. So this is a really good alternative and significantly lower in calories. I'm not going to use that today because I'd like to use the fully loaded stuff, but this is also a really good food alternative if you are somebody that really enjoys that, but needs a nice reduced calorie option. So I'm just going to mix all of that together now. It looks absolutely incredible. So you want to make sure that you don't over stir, otherwise you're going to start really mixing up all of the fillings a little bit too much. So you want to have that nice kind of chunky texture so that when you take a bite, it's like you're eating part of that sandwich cookie. So that's so simple. This is the method. All we're going to do now is transfer it into these cute little kind of ramekin cups, and I would highly recommend portioning this out. It is fairly calorically dense. So the macronutrients for these are 43 grams of protein, and that's primarily coming from our peanut butter that we've added. It contains 144 grams of carbohydrate and 76 grams of fats. That totals 1,433 calories. So yes, it is dense, but again, depending on what fillings you add, you can reduce that substantially. Oh, there's a nice big chunky cookie right there. I can feel it. It's awesome. We'll just leave that one dangling at the top for decoration. Okay, so we'll start with the second flavour now. So I'm just going to transfer the rest of that mixture into this bowl. It does help if you have a spatula for this because you're going to have a lot of excess kind of stuck on the sides. Probably will also help if you have a little spoon just to get all that little bit that's stuck off. Okay, just sit that there. Tastes pretty good. All right, so let's go in and add these ingredients for our Biscoff flavor. So like I said, we've also got, in addition to the Biscoff spread, we have our white chocolate chips, we have the candied pecans, and I found these the other day at the grocery store. It's like a vanilla buttercream stuffed carrot cake cookie. It's just incredible. So we'll go ahead and we'll pop all those in, starting with the cookie. Better not lose my spoon. Next up we'll go done. Spoon after spoon. Okay, and to the best to last, that delicious Biscoff spread. Now this stuff is dense, folks. It is also like crack, and it's one of those things you've just got to put the jar down. Okay, so again, just going to mix that all in. Remember not to overmix, we want to keep some of those cookies kind of intact. All right, so same process, we're gonna go ahead and fill up the little ramekin cups and make this into 2 servings. So again, this one's gonna be a little bit chunkier because you've got those nice candied pecans. Actually, I forgot something. I forgot about our brown sugar, so let's go ahead and add that. Perfect. So I'm going to push that in. Make sure we get it down to the bottom. So that is our second flavored edible cookie dough. So the macros for this are 32 grams of protein, 164 grams of carbohydrate, and 80 grams of fat. So that brings us to a total of 1,500 calories, or just over. So again, pretty dense. Depending on what fillings you choose, we can definitely get these numbers down, and you don't have to have as many fillings like I've done today, but I'm definitely going for a really nice dessert. This would be something that I'd probably serve up, at a dinner party or something like that, where, we're really looking for like complementary flavors. So I'd probably serve this with like some ice cream, or a side of whipped cream or something like that. So guys, enjoy this. They are absolutely insane. Please give them a try. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time.